Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart and the altcoin market. We take a peek over there at the United States stock market, which is set to open up in the next 2 minutes. Also taking a look over there at precious metals like gold and silver, and the US dollar currency index, or the DXY. We also look over there at any type of financial news to kick off our day and any type of crypto news to kick off our day. And that's my intro. It's pretty much the same thing I say every day, isn't it? That is a long intro. Anyway, it is, like I said, Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. Doesn't matter what's happening in the markets. If it's Wednesday, we're halfway through the week. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
It is Wednesday, my
Let us go. All right. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and take a look at the markets as you get ready. Stock market's opening up right now. And it looks like stock market's going to open to the upside. We're up 181 points there for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, up 20 points for the S&P, waiting for the NASDAQ to update. I think it's going to be about 60. We'll see. Look, there we go. 72 points there for the NASDAQ. Bitcoin sitting at 62,400. We still just kind of been sitting in a hold period here on Bitcoin. Very indecisive on what it's going to do up in here. Of course, we all know it's been the 4.236 extension from 2018. Sitting here running sideways since February 28th. Been in here, looking over there at others. Others still undecided after having the big events occur there on Friday and Saturday, but still holding up just fine. There you go. We'll zoom out a little bit more. Of course, as we all know, it was a 702 rejection that happened in there. Big volatility, double-day liquidations that happened throughout the market on Friday afternoon, and then again Saturday afternoon, and then prices have now just stabilized ever since that has occurred. So we can talk more about that today. The same thing goes for Total 3. This has excluded the altcoins, or not the altcoins. This has excluded the stable coins, right? Looking to see that this is an ABC. So we could talk about structures of what these many times look like in here. A lot of times we pull it back up, and then we pull all the way back down, and then we go and then do like this. But the big $1 million question is if people are going to take any type of action right there to make sure we don't get back down here and then do that. So we'll talk about that as well in here, but otherwise things have just still completely stabilized, and we're just waiting for this market to be able to do something. Dow Jones Industrial Average, of course, versus the Russell 2000. You can see what's going on in there, but Russell looks like it is up today. It is up about 0.5%, so the Russell's up 10 points. Dow Jones up 109, NASDAQ up 66, and the S&P is up 23. So we're up about 1/3% to 0.5% between the different indices, indexes, whatever you want to call them. United Health, Nvidia, and Google and Microsoft lead the way. Losers of the morning are Roblox, Tesla, and Coinbase. Kind of continues to be the same names every single day. Looks like yields are down today. Metals up slightly. It looks like gold 23.90. Silver 28.67, copper 4.37. Just continuing. DXY still sitting over there in the historical danger zone. So it's again, we had one more confluence happen there of where 106 ended up being a problem child because we closed at 106.01 on Friday, and then that is when all the chaos erupted in the market. Right there, as we're at 106.01, you can say coincidence or causation, up to you. But once again, 106 proves to be a historical danger zone. We still do sit above it currently right now to see how we are going to react up in here. As for Bitcoin, sitting at 62,325 as the morning gets kicked off. I saw TXMC post some stuff over there today. I won't go into detail on it because I'm not a professional at deciphering on anything on chain. But he had posted all these on-chain images. There you go. And that you could see all these things marking of what it looks like when you're approaching tops for Bitcoin. We've talked a lot about that. We've talked about just the price behavior, altcoin market behavior, on-chain behavior, all acting very similar to once you get much closer to tops rather than the beginning. That's one of the things we've talked about a lot over the last couple of months is everybody is really referencing 2020 being back at the all-time high, 2016 and 17 being back at the all-time high. But on-chain data suggests you're actually significantly further along in that process. And people who are looking for the confluences of 2016 and 2016, 2017, and then 2020 and 2021 to current times right now, that we're having to look at it through an entirely different spectrum. At least that's how we do it here on this channel. And that, other elements that are very different, of course, is there's no expansion happening throughout the United States stock market and gold while you're pushing on $2,400. Whereas we know in every Bitcoin expansion, we actually see gold getting broken down to the downside during actual expansions. And that is not happening. So we are in a vastly different environment with Bitcoin sitting up in here. So we could talk about a couple of things when it comes to Bitcoin's price action, just total guesses on structures here. Like we were just showing there with all that on chain, all of the real interesting thing about his posts in here to show all these things in here that are fascinating to say that, it's like being much further along is that you can see where these are happening. And sorry, it's a little bit blurry on the screen to see these things, but all these peaks that are happening in here, once we reach these levels on these metrics, those were all happening right there. And so we've talked a lot about that. This was also where the altcoin market got back to its 702 retracement level back in 2020. So it's not like we haven't seen this happen before and the altcoin market just gets back to its retracement and then skyrockets. But again, giving very similar signals on multiple on-chain, profit-taking mechanisms and when coins are moving as if we're significantly further. For me, of course, just from technical perspectives, saying that, of course, makes me very concerned. We talk about Fed funds. You don't have any bull runs for Bitcoin that take place. During that, we always have massive bull runs that take place during loose credit financial conditions. We have seen big monster retraces happen just like this, where, let's see, can I do it like this? All right, where we go. Similar percentages like this during a pause period. I believe we did get a little bit higher on this one, but very close, right? When we did this whole one right back in here, very similar percentages of a move that happened in here. Compared to 2019 during a pause that ended up happening. So, if you want to look at it from, for me, I look at it through cautious lights, cautious eyes, not through bull-tard eyes or through bear-tard eyes, but with the caution of both at this point, right? We went through all of 2022, 2023, essentially chastising the 12Kers, right? But now at this point, the trade is different. In here, of course, it was always Wyckoff accumulation, right? Moving to our sign of strength phase and getting to our break. We get up to our 702 Fibonacci retracement. get moved, pulled back. Now it becomes a whole new thing, right? Now, like all that Wyckoff accumulation, all that phase A, B, C, D, phase E expansion, markup happening. We're all past that. It's almost like talking about the Wyckoff accumulation phase of this anymore. It's like we're beyond it. It's like not a topic even for discussion anymore. Now it all becomes, can we go into recoveries and then go into expansions by taking these things out? Or is there a longer consolidation? Or is a gig up? Is the sky going to fall? Is everything going to collapse on itself? Which nobody is cheering for. I am not cheering for that. But like if you are going to look at Bitcoin, and like we can just like reference multiple points in the past and just kind of talk about them. Just kind of keep our eyes open, so we'll have things to reference to and discuss moving forward. And one thing that was real similar to the behavior, and I talked about this right back in here, that I was like, if we get this move back up, if you're playing in the meme coins, might be time to stop doing that in here, because we actually had the exact same thing happen last year where the meme coin craziness, the meme coin mania, all died down, and it all died down right there, right? Then this thing went into the ABC correction that ended up happening in here. Sentiment got squashed. Sentiment died, right? And that's just kind of what we're seeing happening right now, where you reach excessive euphoria, and that excessiveness all happens in here, and then things just kind of tame off and just dwindle out. So we know that we've had a lot of similar retail behavior happen in here as we had happened in here. So we can kind of look back at that at some point. But if we're going to look at things like from the perspective of, if you think this is a real bull run that is just taking off and Bitcoin's going much higher and it's going to keep on going, and those on-chain metrics all indicate to you that you're just right here, right? And that there's still another leg to go here in Bitcoin. You could study what that looked like, right? It was an ABC correction that does end up taking out this low over here, but it doesn't take that initial whack that happened, right? We actually had a whack just like that in here, right there, whack, and then here, but it still hasn't done like what a C leg would look like in here. So you can keep your eyes open for something like that and for a recovery. As for the altcoin market, of course, the big thing is to watch the low that has come in here, right? And to make sure that we're still going to continue to maintain these. This is actually not acting too crazy the way the price actually is. I'm just going to take this off the screen for now. That the fact that we're still holding in here, you guys have seen, right? This is essentially the exact same correction that happened back in 2017 in Bitcoin. It's just a really great example of an ABC correction that happens in here with violence of massive price falling. And to just get an idea of that, even for Bitcoin's fall, that fall right there is 31%. And that lasts a total of 2 days, 3 days, 3-day, 31% fall happening there for Bitcoin. When you zoom in on these just to see how it is, right, you kind of get your initial reaction off of the lows. As you can see, we had our initial reaction off the lows back to resistance, pulls back, waddles down in here. Same story happening down in here as we've pulled back and just kind of chilled out for a little while. Notice that is what happens in here too. So we'll see that, right? Then there's another push up a little bit higher to attempt to do something, but then it kind of falters and struggles until it can finally start working its way up. So right now, just pulling back, this isn't actually unexpected. You would expect something like that to happen, like we're talking about in here. Then after that, a push a little bit higher. Then after that push a little bit higher, if we do get it, right, then for those who haven't done any protection whatsoever over the last 2 months, it'd be decision time. Decision time on if you're going to protect yourself in any way right here. That's up to you to do. For my entries that were all made down in here, they will get protected quite a bit up in here again. They did get protected here for stop loss of break evens should we go take out these lows. But I'll take even more off up in here in an attempt to reinforce them again lower on a pullback back down again in here. So hopefully that is all that we have going on in here, right? Hopefully this is just a massive, beautifully violent, horrible correction that has happened in here, and that things can recover. But that what I'm really trying to get at is emphasizing getting back into these areas right in here, and that after this, what would market sentiment kind of be like? And just to think about for a minute, there's been a tremendous amount of excitement in the market right in here, right? This is it. And then that was really the end of it, right? And notice that entries made here are, if this gets back up in here, are about to experience the same percentage moves happening again in here again. But when you get back here, in these style behaviors, you tend to pull back again. And if you pull back again, it's going to have those same feelings again. You'll see the excitement return back to the market, and then you'll have the same feelings happen in the market of this whole move all over again. And to just kind of think about that and market, you know what I mean? Like from here to here, it's all the same gains of the whole run. But then in a pullback back down, it's going to be like the whole liquidations that happened on Friday, right? And probably more, if you just typically, or at least very similar. So just think about that. And that on corrective structures like this, that's typically what ends up happening. So just food for thought. And when we get back in here, of course, we know we're experiencing a lot of interesting behavior when it comes to zero expansion happening in the United States stock market. Yesterday, I read those quotes for you that we've seen this happen before. These happened in the roaring 20s. These happened during the dot-com bubble. This happened in the late 60s, early 70s, where there was no expansion happening throughout markets like this. And the bubbles were very consolidated like that, and they ended poorly. That this isn't how the past expansions for Bitcoin have been. The past bull runs, 2013, 2017, and 2021 bull runs were all the Dow Jones and the Russell 2000 breaking into all-time highs, and Bitcoin breaking into all-time highs all at the same time. And that dynamic's just not there. And so while, of course, hoping we get a recovery, all these things are beautiful, all these things go well, and they're great. When we get back there, right, to just make sure it's not one of these things happening in there, right? And I don't think it's going to be. But here I'll show you, right? That, it ABCs, and then, the initial reaction and pull back, and then it shoots its way back up and then falls, right? So even if we get this move up in here, something like this, right in here, you get this even in a bearish structure, and you get it in a bullish structure. And if you've played no defense, you've got no cash whatsoever, you were just long bolt hard the whole time, keep it in mind. Keep it in mind of the environment that we're in. We're in an environment where silver is pushing. You got the DXY in the complete danger zone. You got gold at 23.93 with zero expansion happening in the United States stock market. And we're all navigating this together. We're navigating this new environment together because there's never been this environment for the crypto market. The crypto market was created in 2009 when Bitcoin was created. It has never, ever gone through this environment before, ever. So we're navigating it, understanding that the environment is different. So keep those things in mind, that we're trying to play a game here where there's elements that are vastly different and trying to figure out what does it all mean at the same time as gold still continues to push. And again, a reminder, every Bitcoin bull run that was YOLO was met with gold getting slammed and expansion in the stock market. And those things aren't there. So we're just going to navigate that together. Nervous laugh. So, okay. There you go. But again, just like back in here, this was where we had meme coin mania, the tail finishing act of meme coin mania. I talked about this last week. No, not last week. 2 weeks ago. I talked about this 2 weeks ago back there in April 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. I don't know. You have to watch markets in the morning then. But we talked about the tail end of meme coin mania came in right in here. That was really the end of it. If you remember this, if for those who were here in 2023, which I think most people were, remember the Ben Eth stuff. People were sending him $7 million. Same kind of stuff all happening in here. Same kind of stuff. So, the meme coin stuff, again, like we said, the ending was likely back here in the past. But to give you kind of examples of corrections in there, there's that one for an ABC, and then examples of corrections, which the on-chain data, right? All your on-chain data mimics that. It mimics you kind of being right in there. And the price action of Bitcoin, obviously, it looks very similar to if it's just kind of sitting there hanging out right in there right now. So we'll keep an eye on it. And again, this was also where the altcoin market had gotten back to retracement levels. We are entering into earnings season. What was the catalyst that happened right in here to bring retail in to buy the top? Right? Has retail been brought in to buy the top? Was the ETF a good enough narrative to bring retail in to buy the top? Possibly. But this one right in here was, of course, Elon Musk and Tesla adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. That was the big break right in there. And then, of course, we spent early February till early mid-May laser eyeing, diamond handing Wall Street bets, YOLO. We all gonna make it. That all takes place in there, right? And we had very, very nice distribution and altcoin market behavior, which we haven't seen yet. So there's still a relatively okay chance for this to still be our thing. I will never see this again. I don't think we'll ever see this rolling top again. But for us to be in something like this, all on-chain still suggests that's really how far along we are. Whereas most people do think we're really kind of like right here. No, on-chain really puts you in here. And, pretty deep into it. So, there you go. We'll see. We'll end up seeing. And things we'll be watching for on altcoin market, of course, be an initial run. I will, of course, be happy to see something like that happen because that's what we end up seeing happen. But I won't go into it. I try to keep my emotions in check, whether the prices are high and the crowd is really excited or prices are low and the crowd is really upset and scared. I try to keep myself really calm throughout all of it. And one thing that would happen in the event like that is probably the crowd gets really excited again. And I won't be. Okay. So because my expectations would be that we would pull back again and the crowd would be mad all over again. This is the most volatile market in the world. I don't know how people come in here thinking we can make 10,000% gains and not have crazy corrections when we have the crazy corrections all the time, every time. But the emotions are wild because the percentages are so huge. Any move like this would be big. Any move like this would be big. You watched it, and just this is going to be the blueprint moving forward. If things suddenly go terribly, terribly wrong, I will get stopped out on those entries that were made right in there. I don't suspect that I will. But this is really the blueprint for me currently right now with the market. And yeah, so just kind of giving you a little heads up. There you go. Bitcoin. But again, there you go. Meme coins come to their conclusion at the same spot, which this, of course, ABC correction. All right. There you go. 62,679 there for the altcoin market. Others, there you go. Gold and silver, there you go. Okay, how's the Dow doing? The Dow up 180. Who's leading the pack? Hey, we got Coinbase in the green. How about that? United Health, Google, Ford, leaders of the morning. Losers are Tesla, Netflix, and Meta. How is Tesla doing these days? Tesla's at its support. That's an interesting level. So that was its support level from April of 2023, so a year ago. Okay, interesting. I don't know what I had on this chart prior to this. There you go, the Dow. Get this off. Okay, moving on. We'll head over to news. All right, there you go. Stock futures rise as S&P 500 look to snap their 3-day losing streak. Stocks making the biggest pre-market moves are Eli Lilly, Travelers, United Airlines, Alcoa, and more. Treasury yields are little changed as investors digest remarks from Fed officials. Yep. Remarks came out yesterday from the Fed. Jerome Powell, you think you're getting rate cuts? They're telling you not a chance. Not a chance. They're not saying not a chance, but what they are saying is the inflation data is not good. That's what Jerome Powell said yesterday. Inflation data, not good. This is all following the exact timeline of what it all told us the whole time. And we've as you guys know, let's pull this up. CPI month over month. I don't know why the investing.com website runs so slow. Sorry, guys. It's just running really slow. We'll have it up here. I would say in about 7 seconds, you will see it on your screen. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. The problem with inflation is that you were running out of time to be able to do anything to get it lower, right? As we knew that our last chance to really cut things down has already passed by, and that the next 5 months, you're fighting against these things. So you actually have an okay one coming up here for the next reading that we end up getting in May, where we're going to be like replacing a 0.4% from the year over year CPI. But then you've got to battle this 0.1, this 0.2, and this 0.2. And so it's not like the CPI numbers are huge, right? 0.4, 0.3, 0.3, like annualized. What is annualized that? It's closer to 4 to 5%, right? So 0.3%, 0.3 times 12 is 3.6. Yep. And then 0.4 times 12, that's 4.8. So you've got a couple of 0.3s, 0.4s in there. And so you're getting like an annualized, for the last 4 months, annualized CPI of about 4%. So is that the Fed's 2% goal, 2% mandate? No. And so are they going to get it? No, not at least not by August. Like September and October. Oh, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting, right? We're going into the election in November, and we will knock out a 0.5 and a 0.4 right before the election. Dude, that will be interesting. Is this all like manipulated data? I don't know. Right. So the next 5 months, not great. Next 4 months, really not great for inflation data. But then when we get the September reading and the October reading, the 2 readings before the election, we'll knock out some pretty decent sized numbers from the CPI. And wouldn't that just be a thing? Okay, everybody remember this. And I know I'm asking a lot from you. I'm asking you to remember something 6 months from now. that it would be crazy that after the October reading, we actually end up having like a 2.9 after the October reading just before the election. Okay. That's it. Anyway, for the next 5 months, no. 4 months, no. Nothing. Gig is up. All right, wait. What are we doing? We're doing news. Ramble. Okay. Tesla seeks to reinstate Elon Musk $56 billion pay deal in shareholder vote. U.S. crude oil falls below $85 as traders discount Iran-Israel war risk. Oh. See, that's what was so fascinating about the move that we also had the other day, is that it really came with a narrative. You had liquidations and a narrative at the exact same time, creating fear for people not to be able to buy it. That's a lot of times what makes me, that adds extra confluence to it when you get price behavior like that and you get a narrative to go along with it at the exact same time. All right. Biden wants to triple the China tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. I forget, somebody was telling me about China ruining some economies by bringing lots of steel. I don't know who that was. I can't remember that conversation I was having. Anyway, moving over, going to crypto news. Crypto-like communication devices could break government surveillance, Telegram founder Darav. Unless if they make it illegal. Bitcoin bids stack above 60K as hopes of a Bitcoin price rebound build. Bitcoin halving will pump games. Shrapnel's simple secret revealed, Web3 gamer. Bitcoin halving supply shock is set to shake up the mining sector. SEC has very low odds of winning against Uniswap, says crypto lawyer. Disable iMessages ASAP to avoid crypto zero-day exploit, says Trust Wallet. What to expect at Chengpeng Zhao sentencing. Peter Schiff questions Bitcoin ETF demand and 100K Bitcoin price target. It really does need a new narrative, doesn't it? Like, we're so past the ETF stuff now and the ETF excitement. I guess you got the halving coming, but, I've been through this stuff before. I've been through the halving. The halving itself is not so much of an event. And it's so minuscule now. I don't know if it's truly an event, but maybe, I don't know. But it needs some narrative, right? How low can Bitcoin go? Analysis disputes a black swan event. NSA just days from taking over the internet, warns Edward Snowden. Ooh. All right. Ether prices are in downtrend as Bitcoin challenges 64K. Goldman cautions against extrapolating previous Bitcoin halving cycles for price predictions. Bitcoin's fourth mining reward halving is just 2 days away. Runes. Okay. I think it's it. All right. Fed rate cuts. Your probability of getting one rate cut in 2024. Not even a 100% odds of you getting one rate cut now in 2024. So fascinating. As for the safety trade dominance, one of these things we've looked at, you can see still moving somehow, some way, still acting identical to how it did in 2020 and 2019. Still shifting right along. And now it's just kind of the patience game in here. But one of those things to take into consideration down in here. So to give you kind of an example of just give you a timing of events on how everything played out in here with the safety trade, COVID actually ended up happening right around here. So this is actually around where COVID happens. And then the market drifts up, the altcoin market outperforms. And then it's from here where this is actually Bitcoin really taking off and stealing the show and the thunder and heading up and going up in a big way, and the altcoin market not traveling along with it. So if we do end up getting some move down like that, maybe consider some in there. I know I probably will, but we're not there right now. So okay, that's it. That's what we got going on today. Waiting for Bitcoin on if it's going to give us a little bit more of a blip here. start forming some kind of ABC correction happening in here. Altcoin market still just holding along right in here, waiting to see if we get our reaction to eventually pop out and do something along those lines in there. Otherwise, the waiting game still continues after the extreme volatility on Friday and Saturday. Now it's just been ranging Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So, all right, that's it. That's what's going on over there in markets today. I guess I'll give you guys the frog one more time before we hop into the chat after a 35-minute monologue. I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. If the frog is where you end up leaving the door and heading out, please hit the like button on your way. Otherwise, we'll keep the party going.
It is Wednesday, my It is Wednesday,
All right, on to the chat. Halfway through the week, everybody. Mr. Q says, hey, BCB, what do you think of Uniswap and Matic? Are they correcting or all falling apart? Do you see anything bullish on them? Thank you very much for all that you do. I don't follow Uniswap very much. I don't own really. I don't own any Uniswap. Right now for all of these assets, let's see where I know it's on here, but I think the hardest thing for me with Uniswap, and it may just be me being dumb, I don't know what the token does or if it's used for anything. I just didn't know. Like, what do you do with the Uniswap token? Like in any circumstance, I don't know. So I don't know on Uniswap, right? When it comes to Matic, right? This is interesting right in here. So we'll take a look at this, and this kind of goes along with. Developer report, right? You guys know the Electric Capital guys. We've looked at the developer report. They just in this past week had mentioned over there on Twitter, they launched this thing. This is called nftpulse.org. And this is their tracking of the NFT volumes and marketplaces that go on in crypto in there. So I've written a newsletter that talks about user activity levels. And one of those activity levels, of course, is NFT trading, right? And so where are the NFT trades happening at? And so as you can see right there, Polygon, right? Chains in the last 24 hours, chains over there in the last 7 days, and the last 30 days. And then here you are in the last year ranked number 3. So is Matic used right in NFT exchanges? Yes. So there's something there, and there's volume that happens, and there's user activity levels that happen over there on Matic, which is Polygon for those who don't know. I'm not promoting it, you guys. We're just talking about it. So you can see there is user activity levels that happen in there, trading revenue. You can see it showing up here. I think, it has this going for it. I haven't checked. Let me check the developerreport.com, because there was one thing about them that made it mixed, right? There was one thing that added the concern on it with this. Right, is that the total number of developers down higher than the average, right? So the average down 19% on 1 year full time, and with Matic being down or Polygon being down 33. So you kind of have one thing going for it, and you have another thing kind of I think one thing that would be interesting on this would be to track how they're doing in regards to market share, and if that market share is falling. And I would suspect the market share is falling because for those who don't know, which you should know, we put out a newsletter just a couple of days ago. We were talking a lot about Base, and a lot of people, I don't think, understand what Base is or are not paying attention to it, and maybe stuck in your own kind of thought processes on here. But as you can see here on this release, Polygon gets dethroned by base the last 24 hours, dethroned by base in the last 7 days, dethroned by base here in the last 30 days. So if you are not paying attention to this, there is a reason this was all put together. You can see it. It's being, this thing is moving up in the ranks quickly. Over the last 30 days, base accounted for 14% of all NFT trade volume. Right. In the last week, 13% of all NFT trade volume. I don't know if you see this. Ethereum, 19% for the last 30 days. Base, 14. Last 7 days. Solana, 18. Base, 13. Is in the last 7 days, almost up to Solana levels. So that's interesting, right? And I'm uncertain on whether or not Polygon and Matic will be able to sustain itself in here, right? Because obviously base is an L2 of Ethereum. So that's kind of the thing. Uncertain on longevity of Matic, and that also comes from a ignorance, also not being educated enough on Polygon and on Matic for me to have the knowledge to know. So obviously, I think even for any of these assets right now, the big thing is just, are we at the bottom, right? Are we going to hold in here? And if so, okay, and make sure this doesn't turn into something bigger like a COVID style crash that we ended up having back in 2020, right? And that these things do end up holding some supports in here, and that we do end up staying in here and not continuing the crumble to go much lower. Where's Matic? Right. Oops. So Matic pulls this whole move, holds right in here. I wouldn't express extreme confidence really on Matic's levels unless we get true evidence in the rest of the market being able to hold itself. If the rest of the market's able to hold itself, I give it to Matic. With Uniswap, I don't own any Uniswap because I don't understand at all what Uniswap is for, and that also comes from also a lack of extreme research too. I think I've done minimal. At the minimal I've done, people are like, why is there even a token? I don't know. So for Uniswap, I don't have any. Matic, it is used, in NFT transactions and stuff. But I also think that Base is probably going to overthrow Matic, which I think has already happened. So the market needs to prove itself. If the market can prove that it can hold itself here, then maybe Matic's okay. But boy, there's been a massive trend towards Base. Massive trend. So I wouldn't put either real extreme confidence on either one of them for me. Not right now. XRP Bullish gifted 5 BCB memberships, brother. XRP Bullish, thank you, man. Macro, the XRP Maniac, then gifted a membership as well. Thank you. PJ says, looking at the higher time frame wave count for BTI, does it look like the next move is a 5th wave down? Can we use it as confluence for another leg up? Thanks. Right. So BTI is the inverse ETF of Bitcoin. Right. Man, I was looking at that this morning, and just the extreme volumes that are coming in down in here on BTI. Extreme volumes that are coming in for BTI. Gosh, I think the last time we were looking at it, this one, we're like, look, it's the most volume in history. No. There's a lot of volume on BTI, the inverse ETF of Bitcoin. I would probably look to confluence more on Bitcoin than I would on here. It's not that you have a tremendous amount of data on here to look at. I'd probably try to make better guesses on Bitcoin in itself than in this. But what you definitely are seeing is just massive loads of volume. I don't know. Does it mean there's another one and the loads of volume are even massive? Or boy, it sure would be a lot. I don't know. No, I mean, see, this is why, like, if you just do it like this, right? Yeah, I mean, you could essentially just be looking at an inverse Bitcoin chart and you're going to end up with this, right? This is Bitcoin, right? I mean, you can clearly see this is just El Bitcoino like this. But, things about this, right? Like, see, what I like about this is we have nothing to the left to be able to like use as any type of influence. So if you're just going to look at structures compared to the past, how has the price behavior of Bitcoin been before? Let's do this. Right, so it's like we have no history. We don't know anything. The only thing we know is this. Let me see if I can cut this. Replay, cut. Right? Like that's what we have. Right? So what ends up happening in here? Right? ABC correction. I'm gonna hit play. Play. Breakout. Right? So the correction was good, but there's still that next dip, right? There's still that next wham that happened right in there, which you clearly don't have here yet if you're going to get something similar to that. But then right, and so go back to your standard beta, and it's like that, right? So I don't know. I mean, all you're doing is playing with Bitcoin inverse in here with beta. But it also goes to show you structurally, like what do you see structurally? It's like identical to what 2020 was like back in here. What also happened with the altcoin market at that time? By the time we got back in here, it's the altcoin market got back to the retracement levels. What also was happening? Oh, dang, I don't have it on here. Hold on. Yes, I do. I'm just gonna grab it right there. What also was happening with the market at that time? Back at that level. All this on-chain stuff was going on right back at that level before, right? See, we weren't at the peak yet. We were in that first thing right before Elon Musk and Tesla announced that they had Bitcoin, right? So there's lots of confluences to that. I'm not going to chase Bitcoin, but I see those things, right? So it'd be interesting. BMGMD says, thank you for your analysis through the thick and thin. I'll check back later. I got to go to the dentist because XRP is causing me to clench my teeth at night. I hear that. Arm Day. Hey, BCB, do you feel optimistic on Zcash? So, no, I mean, dude, it's been just a nightmare for payments. Crypto being used as money in the real world. That Bitcoin is not used for money in anything. There's going to be one dude who comments in here and says, yaha, yaha. I saw something on the Lightning Network, and that they've said that the Lightning Network is actually just a massive failure. It hasn't gotten the adoption that it is, that they were hoping that it would, and that nobody's using Bitcoin for payments. And so payments just in general are struggling in here. And so if we're not going to be using any of this stuff for payments, it gets a little concerning about any type of privacy, because privacy and that's one thing that is like even more evidenced by it is that there's not people fighting over privacy, which also says people aren't using it as payments. Because there is zero chance any of you, not one, are okay with going to a retailer and letting them know exactly how much money's in your bank account and everywhere that you've spent your money. If you swiped your Visa card or your MasterCard at, I don't know, Walmart, and at that point, Walmart was able to see how much money you have in your bank account and everywhere you've spent your money since the beginning of time, and then be able to run data analysis on your money and see how often do you spend your money, where do you tend to frequently spend it at, and start target advertising towards you. And then, of course, a bunch of scammers and targeters start going after you, knowing how much money you have. Would you be okay with that if that's what happened every time you swiped your Visa and your MasterCard? That Walmart knows how much money you have and all the scammers know how much money you have and where you spend all your money. No, not one of you are okay with that. But you're okay with it with Bitcoin. That's the problem. That's why I don't foresee the money narrative with Bitcoin happening. And if there is any money transmission that would happen, it would have to be with something with privacy. But the $1 million question is, will that end up coming? Outside of a speculative retrace happening at this point, will we do it? I don't know. Right now, I think it's more about just at some point some retrace. Like Bitcoin Cash gave a giant retrace, right? Whether or not that can issue out the same thing, but we're just not showing any use of money for crypto whatsoever. Oscar Hernandez gifted a BCB membership. Oscar, my man, thank you. JR Flight, I'm buying the dip based off developer activity still? Yes, I think I think there's one or two speculatives that don't have developer data on, but everything is the very first thing I do is I go check out developer activity. And one thing I'm really waiting on right now, this is a quarterly update that happens on the developer report. So for those who are sitting there hitting F5 waiting for it to come out, this comes out every quarter. And they only do big, giant annual reports where they do this big, long one with 180 something slides in here. You only get that one once a year. But every quarter, you do get an update on the data. This last one's January 17th. What is today? April 17th. We're in the next quarter. So we're right on that timetable. Let me see what day of the week they did that. What was that January 17th? What day of the week? Wednesday. So we're right at a point where all these data metrics could update at any point, and to see who has been gaining developers, who has been losing developers, that were over the last 30 days. And I think over the last 30 days is a really good metric, because what did we see? We saw lots of excitement return back to the cryptocurrency market. So as the excitement returned, where did developers go? Where did they leave and where did they go to? And I think that'll be an interesting data point to see, and keep your eyes on it for that update coming any day. I haven't talked to these guys in a long time, so I don't have any insight to tell you that's true that it's coming out today. But I do know that they have been keeping track of their data for a year now, and it's been a year, and this is when it comes out every quarter, right around now. So F5 that thing, or follow them on Twitter, or do whatever you want. Data's free. It should be coming out pretty soon. Corey, thank you, BCB. That's it. Hit the like and subscribe. Corey, thank you, man. Andy Philpott gifted 5 BCB memberships. Andy, thank you, sir. Every single day, man. I appreciate it. 702, man. I really do appreciate it, Andy, man. You are here every day. You're consistent every day, brother. I really do appreciate it. Oscar, of course. All the love in the world for Oscar. If you're a car or chair, don't forget to hit the like. What? Okay, if you're in the car or sitting in a chair, don't forget to hit the like. That's right. All you have to do is hit X on the live chat, hit the like button, and then hit live chat and you're back. Thank you for reminding, Oscar. Feline, will you finally say, no, that is 58? No. Felon wants me to pump his coin desperately. Ben Koss, opinion on Multiverse X climbing the ranks on Sentiment. I just don't know enough about, there's Multiverse X, I do believe, is a top 10 development activity coin. You do see that has a big following over there on Twitter. I'm not particularly in the know of what it does, but there's a lot of people who like it. A lot of people who are excited about it, who obviously know way more than me. Just with how many things there are on the radar, it's just I just don't have full track of it. So it's definitely nothing against that, because there's clearly a lot of people who like it. It's just, again, one of those things a little bit over. My attention can only do so much. Come and see Jesus says, I'm not receiving XRP automatic market maker liquidity pool. Can you demo? Yeah, so I have done it. I do have stuff in the liquidity pool right now. I don't know if I'm going to do it here on the live stream, because I don't know what's connected in here. I don't want to pull up all my live wallets at once. But maybe I can bring the XP market guys on too. But I mean, I know how to do it, but they can really walk you through it. Yeah, in the coming days. Dr. Ty, people publicly Venmo each other's. What's privacy? What do you mean publicly? In Venmo, can you see into each other's wallets and see how much each person, how much money they have? God Redfish asks about some type of meme. I don't know. They're active on Twitter and they are based. I don't know, man. I'm not going to bring that up on the channel. I don't have any idea, dude. How's Bitcoin doing? Let's get back off the inverse. So this will be the moment to see. All right. Dippy dip for the C. Dippy dip, longer C. Has it gotten it yet? No. Okay. Stark is looking interesting for Enrico. Well, Stark's a new coin. It's always like this. You don't know how they're going to go in those new ones, right? I did Tia, and I tried to do it really slow, and the thing just took off. And then with Sui, it was Sui, or as I say it, I've been calling it Sui for forever, but I think it's Sui. It was one of those ones where it had forever. It just kept going and going, till boom, it ended up going. Stark seems to be acting more like a mix between Tia and Sui. It was like, nope, we're gone. Nope, just kidding, back. And that's your new coins for you. Bitcoin get it? No, it's so close. So close. All right. Well, there we go. Oh, dang, we're at 58 minutes. Okay. Well, there you go. Bitcoin sitting at support. We'll check in on this thing tomorrow, see if it ends up getting a C leg to show up in here. Otherwise, things to be watching for are to see us get a move up here in the altcoin market and to continue to hold these lows and us not be in Doom City, which I don't think we are. And we'll check in on it tomorrow. If you're a person who follows developer activity, keep your eyes on that stuff. And oh yeah, and check this out. There's a reason we're talking about Base. It was awesome because I got TXMC on board. He's now helps contribute to this thing to help me gather data. And Right Stuff, absolutely fantastic. He has a lot of things to be able to bring additional value to the newsletter as well. So I'm super excited to have him on board. And this was our first collaboration on here. And we really dove into all things going on with Base. And it's not a surprise. They're taking over a lot of stuff happening in here. So we'll see how they go. Again, there's no base token, too. That's the best part. People are like, you're a shiller. If you talk about it, you're shilling. First of all, to shill anything, you got to get paid by it, too. If I talk about Bitcoin, am I a Bitcoin shiller? Right? Or is it okay that you could talk about stuff in the top 10 and it'd be all right? I don't know. It's such a weird market. A lot of losers in this space. Anyway, yeah, there's no base token. So base is growing rapidly. So keep your eyes on that thing. Check out the newsletter. And guys, I will check in with you again tomorrow. We just hit an hour. I'm going to start recording a video today, so hopefully it gets out later this afternoon. Fingers crossed. All right, that's going to be it for this one, you guys. Wait, I don't want to miss anything. Oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. I didn't even... Wait, am I? Okay, wait. Larry said, good morning, BCB. Since our thesis is Bitcoin is in distribution, shouldn't have XRP made its move by now since it's a laggard? How low will XRP have to go for you to capitulate and sell? For you to capitulate. I've already said it. I'm holding that thing long term. So, there's a lot of stuff I'll trade and get rid of. No problem. Then there's lots of long-term holds that you have. Do you capitulate and sell your whole 401k when the thing goes down? Or do you just kind of have a bag that you always hold? Right? So it is, right? Is there a part that you're willing to, is there stuff you're willing to trade, and is there stuff you're willing to hold for long term regardless of it, right? So as for the last month and a half, I've been telling you guys I've been selling stuff and building a large cash position. Welcome to the crash. Welcome to the people who are now going to turn into this. As for XRP, if you did not watch last week's video, if you have any type of belief that XRP is going to flip the switch or do anything like that, you are basing it off of fantasies. I watched people on Saturday who were saying, I really thought that XRP would follow gold when the crash happened. There is no historical precedent for that. None. The only precedent you have for XRP to be able to take off is if it goes with the rest of the market. And so what you have to have is this thing break out. There is no narrative. There is no nothing except for fantasy storytelling. You have to have the altcoin market expand. If you don't get it to expand, it's not going to go. At least that's what the last 11 years of data tells us. So that's what you have to wait for. So have we had any type of meaningful move happen in the altcoin market in distribution? Nope. We'll see. But here's what it is. Redfish. Oh yeah. So that's what I accidentally skipped that one, but I got to get the last two. Okay, there we go. My bad. Sorry, Larry. All right, there we go. Now we're good. All right. Again, we'll start working on a video today and hopefully have it out later this afternoon. If not, try to get it out early in the morning. But the goal is, of course, to get it out this afternoon. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you would like something to do, go ahead and check out the Substack. Link is in the chat right now. Link is also in the description of this live stream. Audio voice recording in there, 24 minutes with silky smooth voice. Not spicy. Not spicy version. But all right, there you go, guys. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.